Welcome to 2D Kinematics. This is our last lesson, video for this unit, Preconceptions Revisited. After completing the 2D Dimensions Kinematics unit, revisit the questions from the beginning of the unit. What have you learned? How have your responses changed? So, is it possible for displacement to be greater than the distance traveled? Remember? So, displacement, let's say you start here and you go here, and then let's say you go a little bit further, and then let's say that you decide to go back. The displacement, the end point would be here, so your displacement would be this, right? So the displacement is always going to be equal to or less than the distance traveled, because the distance traveled is the total number of steps, and the displacement is where you end up relative to where you start. What are some different ways of communicating direction? So here we have lots of different ways. You can do like 0 degrees north. So you can do northeast, north, and then give a degree east, or east of north, above the horizontal, below the horizontal. These are all different ways that you can describe direction. What is the best angle to kick a football to maximize its air time? This is assuming no air resistance. The best angle, assuming no air resistance, is 45 degrees. Now, with air resistance, it's slightly different. It's actually, you want to do it at a lower degree, and it depends on the ball and different situations. But in general, if there was no air resistance, it would be 45 degrees. Two identical objects fall from a tall building. Which hits the ground first? If one was dropped and the other was launched. So if you have, let's say here's a tall building, and let's say you have a ball right here, and you have two balls. One is launched and one is just dropped, right? And so the question is, which one's going to hit the ground first? And what is the answer? They hit the ground at the same time, because your horizontal velocity does not affect the acceleration, doesn't affect gravity. So they're both being pulled to Earth with the same acceleration due to gravity. And so our X and our Y components can be separate, and the horizontal speed that it has does not affect gravity. Can an object be accelerating if it maintains its speed? Yes, because it can change direction, right? Does every person observe motion the same way? No, moving observers see motion differently than stationary observers. What was the most useful piece of information or skill you learned this unit? You can answer that one for yourself. Any questions?